So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean. And this is
Okay, you mentioned Jeff
George
Dunham.
Barris, right?
Yeah, but you mentioned Jeff Dunham.
Right.
Jeff Dunham actually owns the super van now, in its third restoration. George Barris built these in 1971 after its original build was called the Love Machine. In 1976, George rebuilt the van and repainted it for the movie Super Van and created 3 of these pedal cars. This is the only one that is known to exist. This came right out of George Barris' shop. You can see that it's autographed by George. I found this in a private collection in Ohio that had never seen the light of day since the last 25 years, and I talked the owner out of it. And so we're pretty proud to have it here in the museum, as it is one of our most prized pieces.
Wow. All right, where are we headed?
We're heading that way.
All right, I'm going through this. Oh, wow. Models, Hot Wheels, just everything in here.
We have over 20,000 pieces in the collection. This wall alone has 1,944 pieces on it, all arranged in order of Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Johnny Lightning, Corgi, and other companies. It is arranged in order from top to bottom, in chronological order of release from top to bottom.
Wow. Somebody.
It's the most anal thing I've ever done.
I was going to say, somebody has a lot of time to do this. So this is dedication, folks. So, because I have about 3,000 Hot Wheels, and they are all in a big crate. Mm-hmm. So this is insane.
These were for many years too, and I got tired of that. My goal in this building was to be able to bring the piece home and put it on the shelf where it belongs, and that's what this pile is over here. I need to get to.
Oh wow, you even have the old slot cars. Yeah.
That's to your left, that's the track setup. And all of the vans in this slot over here are, hopefully one day will actually run on that track again. They are slot vans that hopefully will run again someday. And then the boxes, of course, there's the boxes to your right that they came in. This is the first time I've been able to actually have them on display. Of all the years and places I've moved the collection, I've able to do the box art these days, which I really enjoy. I think people love the box art anymore.
I actually think I owned the TCR one because that was the one without slots that you could pass. I remember owning that for Christmas. Wow.
That's a new company called M2 that is building first and second generation Ford and Dodge vans that have been coming out for about the last 6 years.
Now, this stuff is collection, not sale. The stuff that's for sale is
only
up there.
in the gift shop.
But if you're somebody who goes through and you find, especially probably the older metal, but anything like that, don't give it away. Don't throw it away. Don't sell it. Just kind of send it here. If you
put our name on it.
Put a name on it. Put it in the post office and send it here. The plastic toys, everything else, anything like that. That's a van. Definitely think about these guys first. The Big Jim van. Oh my gosh. No kidding. I haven't thought of him, the Big Jim van, since I was 12. That was what, 70s?
In here, the hair stands on my head, right on my arm right now the minute you said that. That just excites me more than probably it did just you. There's Barbie, look, in her Hooters outfit.
Barbie Hooters?
Hooters. She's got her Hooters outfit. See her over there?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, over there. Okay. But the Big... God, I didn't even remember Big Jim. And I mean, I watch a lot of nostalgia stuff. And it's just like, I remember that now. It looks different than I remember.
Yeah.
But it is...
I'm not mistaken, the box is back there behind it, too. There's Jesse James stuff. And, I mean, like I said, name a cartoon character, a superhero. They're on a van here somewhere. NASCAR stuff. These are all monster trucks and over here. And I actually rode in Rolling Thunder. I hired him to do a show at our van event in 1988, and I got to ride with him. This is when he went up to crush all these cars. Again, we were anti-pickup trucks in the Midwest.
All right.
We had a little Chevy pickup that he ran over and crushed for us outside of the show. He went up on this Cadillac, and when he straddled the Cadillac, he came down and he broke the right front axle. That's the axle right there next to him. I picked it up. A friend of mine's son picked it up and gave it to us a few years later.
Now,
but I was in the passenger seat when he did the show.
something just came to me. I don't remember who you are, but you came up to me when we were at the GM Nationals last year, not this year, last year, and we were at the GM Nationals at Carlisle, and you owned the original, because you had other cars there that were original TV. You had one of the original vans from A-Team. And I think you live in Virginia. And it may be, I don't know do you know, there's a guy that owns a couple, but
There's
had
one right here in St. Petersburg.
one of the original. I know this one had the one from the TV show, because he was a collector.
Okay.
So you need to reach out, at least let him know where it is. So let these guys know where it is.
We'd like to make room for that. We do have a couple of A-Team items here, and you'll see as we move around the corner here.
But yes, I remember him coming up to me, and he had another car there from another TV show. And
I watch the A-Team every night to this day. It's on at 6 o'clock here on MeTV, and my wife and I were just talking how many they actually used in the TV show, because they seem to wreck it every night.
Yeah.
There's bullet holes in the back doors, or there's something with that truck. It makes me wonder how many they actually used, like the Dukes of Hazzard Charger. How many of those actually got wrecked?
And how many are still around that didn't just get trashed afterwards?
Well, the A-Team, they were the original good guys were bad guys in a black van. They rewrote every TV show and movie because of the bad guy driving a van that were actually good guys. That's the ironic part about the A-Team.
And then everybody was making models. I still make models on Model Monday. We make a model we did about 30 of them so far for the channel.
These models date back to 1971, which is the original kits up here: the Sportsman, the police van, the rescue van, that whole, the 71, 2, and 3, that whole top row there. And then the models that are in the corner that go up over the top, these are actually reissues. These are brand new model kits that are just now coming out with vans, which is kind of cool, because somebody's still noticing the fact that we have a need for custom vans. And a lot of these are made from the original molds. If you see the Fanta bottles right there, the black Ford, the second one, here's the original down here called Phantom from 1977.
Oh, wow.
Same thing with the Foxy box. There's the original piece right there. And then the new one just came out just a month ago.
Right there.
Right there.
So
my very first van. Has anybody decided which one was the first one he ever had in here? 1969. It was called the Beach Bomb, the little red Volkswagen up in the second one down.
Wow.
Bought it brand new in 1969 for 35 cents.
Wait, is that?
That's called the Beach Bomb.
Yeah. Now, wasn't there a Hot Wheels? And I may be talking out my butt.
Let me tell you the story.
The one with the surfboard that comes out the roof.
Let me tell you the story. Okay. Wasn't that long ago in an Antiques Roadshow that a fellow went on the show with one of these Hot Wheels Beach Bombs. He wanted to find out what it was worth. His father worked for Mattel back in the 60s and brought him home one of these vans, and he never did anything with it but put it away. So the guy begins to tell him the whole story about this van. And the story is, with that set of right there Hot Wheels track, when you ran that Volkswagen through it, it actually came off the track. It would go through this and get shot out by the two wheels that were inside there and make it fly through there. Well, it would fall off the track.
Right.
And the kids were upset about that, so Mattel decided to redesign the van. The original design for that Beach Bomb had the surfboards coming out the back windows, and it was a little lopsided when it ran down the track. So they redesigned it to put the surfboards now on the side of the van. And they did that to balance it out. They think less than 40 of those original vans exist to this day. So the guy goes, well, okay, let's get down to the brass tacks. What's the thing worth? So after telling him that entire story, the guy looks at him and he says, well, it's worth about $180,000. Of course, the guy's, jaw dropped over the whole thing. One recently sold Sotheby's or one of those New York high-end auction houses, a pink version, where they say less than 3 probably exist for $1 million. A Hot Wheels car.
Yeah. That's not that one.
Did I say car?
Yes, you did. You owe $1 to the box now too.
So, no, we don't have, we actually, remember now, we actually have metal detectors in the building. So if any of you have any ideas about finding $1 million Hot Wheels van in here, it's not going to happen. We only have the sideboard. But these are valuable in their own right.
Oh, yeah. So. Wow. And then who made this, or how did this come about?
A fellow named Mikey Midnight donated that to this. What this is a display based on a trucking or a van show theme, which is Living in Camelot, the Knights of the Camelot, which is the poster right over there. Lost in Camelot, straight ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it now.
That was the theme for that event. This fellow has built nearly 50 of these dioramas with custom vans in them. And when he knew the museum was being built, he wanted to be a part of it. And so he donated one of his pieces. He has a knack for finding these displays or building them, I'm not sure which, and then filling them with custom vans. And as you can see, there's the Starship Enterprise there and the little tank in the back.
I love the ship.
And yeah, and they're all done on vans.
Very cool.
The vans above are ones that I have built over the years. And this one here now, you say Model Monday and you do stuff like that. The NNL Nationals, I think it's called, that's the nationals that are dedicated just to model building.
Right.
A fellow from Michigan donated that van, and Tim Palco is his name. And he won a top 5 award at the Nationals with that event, with that van, out of thousands of entries. If you see that van, the doors are all custom made, the flares are done, the interior, the gull wing door. Kits never came with all that stuff, and he set it up show-wise. He turned down $500 for that after the event was over, and decided to give it to us about 2 years ago.
Wow. I do remember the Charlie's Angels van too, the real one, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a real one, I think. I don't know if it was the movie or the TV show.
Neither one. It was a show vehicle that was on tour through the World of Wheels ISCA.
Okay, maybe that's where I saw it at a car show or something.
They all drove 1974 Mustangs, the ugly Mustangs.
And of course, from Detroit, and as the one band that has put their name on everything from coffins to airplanes, you had to have a Kiss van.
Yep. And that's probably one of the most valuable pieces on the wall. If that was shrink wrap, that might be $1,000 kit today.
Really? Wow.
I do have a poster picture of that. We walked right by the Charlie's Angels van. If you want to see it next time when we're out.
And then
most of the vans on the wall here are all banks. Again, we have stuff from all over the world here. A lot of pieces in the next collection are here from France and from England, from Russia. As you can see, we do have one car in here. That's the Aston Martin from James Bond. The 2 vans next to him are from James Bond movies. That's why we put them in there. The vans down below here are called fan vans, or little plushy ones with all sorts of different baseball teams and college football. No reason or rhyme to what they did or how many they made.
Because you actually, and by the way, this is the best one in here. Just saying, guys, this is the best one in here. So. And my tuition probably helped pay for that.
Probably. The van down at the bottom is kind of interesting. It's actually a shelf support. I found that at a yard sale for $1. If the kid's pull behind had a rope on the front with metal wheels underneath it, I gave it to my pinstriper buddy and said, do something with it. I always like to be surprised when I get paint job and stuff done like that. And that's what he came up with and painted it. It was too big to actually sit on the shelf, so I actually made the display when I built it to have a support underneath it. So that van's actually holding up the middle of that display where it sits on the shelf. And there's your A-Team. I pity the food that doesn't have any A-Team stuff. So
wow, you got lots of A-Team stuff and A-Team trains and
yeah, the A-Team dates
action
back
figures
to 1983. Almost everything is from that era except for the one piece at the very top, which came out during the movie, which just came out about 7 years ago.
Right.
They did a lot of action figures for the movie release, but not many vans. Actually, only one. So there's a lot of stuff in here too. Yeah, it's
even a playhouse. Very cool.
There's a lot of things in here. If you look at, you see the stuff says Brigada A.
Right.
There's a few pieces. Those are actually from South America. That's Spanish for A-Team.
Okay. I also, as somebody who toured with the Grateful Dead, see a lot of Keep On Trucking Grateful Dead.
Yeah, the Chrome logo.
Right. So very cool.
Here's all my superheroes. There's Batman and Superman and the Joker and the Spider-Man and all that. And we have a big Disney display up here.
And I think probably one of the reasons there's so many toys of vans is because you can put logos and pictures and stuff on.
Well, the advertisement value was tremendous.
I mean, even on toy vans.
And you know, and to this day, when you go into Walmart, if you buy a van that's got a flame on the side of it, it costs 97 cents. If you buy one that's got, geez, I'm gonna draw a blank here. Any other company, Bazooka Bubblegum, it's going to be $3.49. The licensing influence in these toys are incredible.
So this is also, and it's also for those of you who may not be into vans but are into toys. This is just as much, this side is almost a toy museum of toys you'll never see other than in a van museum.
The toys in here actually date back to about 1970, and we have a few Marx toys that date back even into the 50s. This is kind of an interesting display right here. If you notice, all the vans in those 6 or 7 rows are all basically the same. The same front end nose with the porthole window, and but are all different colors. So I decided to arrange them by colors. These are probably the cheapest vans in the entire collection. Would have been 49 cents on an end cap in a gas station. But they're still, to me, they're collectible. But a big question I get at this part of the tour is, when you buy a van, especially if you find one loose, how do you know if you have it or not? You've got 20,000 pieces. Right. I said, well, it's pretty simple. You know, I bring the van home. I know basically where to find it because everything in here is by, you know, brand or whatever, right, or scale. And I just basically go down here and look for it. If I don't have it, it goes in the hole. If I do have it, it goes over there into our gift shop, where you could purchase it and take it home and start collecting toys.
There you go.
These are, do you ever see any of the Transformer movies?
Yeah. So Transformer van.
There were 7 movies and not one van in any of them.
But they made a robo van.
This whole display is all Transformers. These are the 3 vans transformed from these. This whole display is all Transformers.
So they weren't movie Transformers, they were the toy Transformers, which originally was what they were until they came out with the movie.
Somebody influenced somebody into making the toy. The toy company said, well, there's Transformers, but why not make Transformer vans? So
yeah,
they just never cottoned down to doing some in the movie. These are our smallest vans. These are all our micro machines. We have over 120 of those.
Wow.
That display, interesting enough, that display is a printer's drawer. Back in the 20s and 30s, they used to use the dies for printing blocks.
Right.
And each letter would sit inside one of those letters. This is actually a drawer from those printing blocks. So this whole display is European. The transit van that we know today that we have driving around on the streets is now built in Kansas City, Missouri. That van has been built around the country in 22 or 23 different countries around the world. The transit van dates back to 1965, which is this top row of vans right here, what they call an MK1, or their early model version. The poster there depicts the life cycle of the transit van, which is still built to this day.
And these are Fords.
These are Fords built in Europe, but now actually built here in the United States. 2015, we quit building the Econoline and now build the transit van at the Kansas City assembly plant.
Now, is there a van culture that you're aware of over in Europe, the same here, where they customize them with paint and everything else?
Absolutely. The whole van scene started basically the same time it did here. The NSVA, which I was telling you about, the National Street Van Association, formed in the UK or England at the same time in the early 70s. Vanning is all over the world. It is a worldwide phenomenon. We have a display in here from the Nordic countries, which is Norway and Finland and Sweden and all that. They have actually been here recently. The people from Denmark were just here a couple days ago. The van influence in Europe basically can be pointed out to is after I've gone and referred to the Vietnam War a couple of times, and servicemen. A lot of these guys were stationed in Germany after Vietnam, and a lot of them were full-time, career soldiers, and they wanted their vans while they were over there. They left their vans at home, and after they were stationed in Europe, mostly in Germany, a lot of these vans were shipped over to them. They could do it inexpensively through the military.
April, should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.